Hi, Brandon Lewis here of Embedded Computing Design, and we're here at Embedded World 2019. And I'm with Dave Hughes here at the HCC Embedded booth. Dave's the head of HCC Embedded. How are you doing, Dave?
I'm doing great, thank you. Yeah.
Very good. So one of the things we've been talking about is the need for regulation in the automotive industry, and it started heading that way with standards like ISO 26262. Now, there really isn't anybody enforcing ISO 26262 on a regulatory level, although the requirements for that are certainly increasing. What do you see happening in that segment of the industry?
I think the industry is obviously changing very rapidly. The demands on the industry are changing very rapidly, but I think it's not completely true that there's no regulatory requirements anymore. I think the EU changed their regulations last year as a result of the diesel fiasco, and actually pushed liability towards manufacturers who weren't applying 26262. So there is a necessity to follow something of that standard or that kind of level of development to prove that you have taken reasonable precautions to do things properly and correctly, which is what you'd expect from something as complicated as cars. And the car industry is obviously getting more and more complicated on an almost daily basis. ADAS obviously being the main example of that. Huge complexity, huge challenges facing the industry, and a need to comply with standards which are being enforced by the EU, or certainly there are regulations that cover that.
Right. So because of how complex a lot of these systems are, one of the challenges anybody in the supply chain faces is making sure that every component within their stack is reliable. How do you see that part of the industry?
I mean, what you say is absolutely true. I mean, cars, as we all know now, are incredibly complex things and manufactured over probably hundreds of companies that contribute to the average car nowadays. And there's a very complex supply chain, and it's necessary to have ways to put things together. 26262 very accurately describes a process called the SAOC, the safety element out of context. Broadly, it's been used for hardware components, so you can put things like microcontrollers into cars. But what we're doing is we're applying that and very strictly and rigorously to software components.
Oh, very good.
And so we want to have software components that have the full life cycle, they have the full assumptions, requirements as defined in 26262.10 and the definition of SAOCs. And you can apply that, the process and the methods and the life cycle, to have a full integration process so that you can actually justify that this component you've integrated has been done to the same level as everything else in your automobile.
Right. And what's the value add? It's a little softball here. HCC Embedded has been working on reliable, safe, and secure embedded software components for a long, long time now, right? Are you applying those same principles in the development of your SAOCs?
We learn all the time. I mean, everything's evolving, and you're applying it to a different thing. So we started making lots of elements out of context. That's what all our file systems are. But you code them in a very general way. When you go for safety, you have very tight specifications. You try and remove everything that's not relevant to what you're actually doing. And so you have a slightly different approach to the software, quite considerably different approach to the software. You want things to be static rather than dynamic. They talk about modular, but modular means testable. It doesn't mean that you can just drop in and out modules dynamically. People don't remove components from a car and put them in while the thing's going along. So you can restrict a whole lot of things that, on your mobile phone, when you have your apps, you download them. You like change, you like things to happen. You don't like change when you're driving along in your car. You want things to be stable and rigorously tested, and that's what they're trying to achieve with these things. So we've got a different focus to the software, and different methods have to be applied to the development.
Very good. Well, if you'd like to find out more, you can go to www.hcc-embedded.com, or if you're here in Embedded World, visit their booth here in Hall 4. HCC's been doing a lot of really innovative work around SAOCs and helping people apply these critical safety elements in various applications within vehicles and other markets. Thanks for your time, Dave.
Cheers, thank you, Brendan.